Hello, welcome to this video where I talk about what to avoid making when building an EToH Tower. The list starts off with obvious practices that I'll briefly explain and then gets more complex as we go further down. Note that some of these may be alleviated depending on the type and style of tower being built. But firstly, make sure to subscribe to see more EToH building guides and tutorials in the future. Alright, let's get right into the video. This one is quite self-explanatory. Adding the same type of jump next to each other multiple times will bore the player and can make the tower's design worse. Repetition also includes copying and pasting the same jump and sprinkling it all over the tower. This is when jumps are really close to each other. This applies especially to non-SE towers because it would be hard for the player to sight read and likely will cause difficulty spikes. This can also create skips and worsen the tower design. Nobody likes seeing these and they are quite simple to fix. Just make the size of each part a whole number. Designs like these are exceptions. Difficulty spikes can range from one jump being significantly harder than the rest to an entire floor requiring more practice. Difficulty spikes can be fixed by trying to legitimately beat your own tower and taking note of these jumps. These range from large walking simulators to sections of gameplay that are far behind in quality compared to the rest of your tower. These make your tower longer and may affect the route of progression. There are many examples of this, including overly bright colors that can strain your eye, colors that do not work well together, e.g. brown and pink, and a poorly designed gradient. Just use a gradient generator online instead. When I'm referring to awful music, it refers to music that is just bad and music that isn't bad but doesn't fit the tower. You don't want to use music that is widely disliked and that you dislike yourself. You also need to avoid music that is unfitting, for example a whimsical modern pop song in a soul-crushing tower that has an intense theme such as death or volcanoes. Bad music choices can make the tower's atmosphere less serious. It is also generally better if a song contains very little to no lyrics. Using extremely bright and dark colors would add artificial difficulty to the tower and can hurt someone's eyes. Examples of these are jump platforms, pole towers, split frame and times final floors. A lot of EToH towers in the game contain some of these features. It is fine if they are not the main gimmick of the tower, but this makes your tower not only less original but more forgettable to the player, as it seems like another one and done tower. When playtesting your tower, consider how long you last in each floor. Generally, you want to make the last 3 floors longer than the others due to their difficulty. But if something like floor 3 was 10 minutes long while all the other floors are 3 minutes long, this is not good for your tower. Poor indication includes badly placed arrows, no indication and even excessive indication. An arrow should only be placed if the next jump is difficult to find or requires strange camera movement. Too many arrows can increase the part count of the tower. Having no indication can confuse the player and lead to frustration. Sign usage depends on a tower's theme. If you're making a tower themed to an abandoned place, you should probably use less signs compared to a tower that is themed to a party. Excessive indication is when there are too many signs and jump guides. You don't want to either baby the player or overwhelm them. A bad theme can either be bad conceptually or terribly executed. Examples of inappropriate themes are controversial events from the past such as tragedies and war or disliked people, themes that may be very political, themes that may offend certain people, themes that don't complement the tower's difficulty, for example a terrifying tower themed to princesses. This one is not as strictly imposed as there are dark themed easy towers. Themes that are objectively boring and uninteresting, for example school homework, exams, traffic jam or a Monday morning. You also want to consider if a theme is overused where there are too many towers with that theme. Examples of overused themes are space and ascending the earth. If you are making these types of themes, perhaps change something about it. For example, if I'm making a space themed tower, we could expand on that by adding a storyline. Now that you have chosen your theme, the next step is to seamlessly integrate it into your tower. Poorly executed themes can make the tower look like a joke tower. Consider researching your chosen theme, searching up common objects, actions or music associated with your theme. For a space theme, objects include spaceships, asteroids, techno music and darkness. After this, you should figure out how to implement these into your own tower. I could create a part where you enter a spaceship as a way to enter the tower, or have a no gravity pushbox section that acts like asteroids. However, you don't want to over decorate your tower with objects as it may not blend well with the gameplay. The harder your tower is, the higher the chance that your tower suffers from awkward gameplay. Awkward gameplay involves jumps that require the player to turn their camera over 180 degrees, jumps that may cause discomfort to your arms, or jumps that feel like they shouldn't belong here or feel forced. An example of this is a ledge grab right after a wrap. Awkward gameplay will make your tower feel unfinished and can cause difficulty spikes. You want your tower to have the same design level throughout, as quality drops can be detrimental to your tower. It's better to have a tower of average design throughout all of its floors than a tower that goes from Zone 9 to Ring 7 quality design. Inconsistent design can also include design styles. You should keep the design style generally the same unless for a very special reason. An example of an inconsistent design is switching from kill bricks to neon for decoration. Going from a spinner to a falling platform to a conveyor as soon as the player begins their tower is a very bad idea. It makes the gameplay feel less flowy and more abrupt, and shows that the creator of this tower has lacked a general idea or plan for each section of the tower. Also, adding overcomplicated client objects such as something like a moving pushbox spawner into a spinning fade platform would overwhelm the player. Instead, start with the basics at floor 1 and slowly expand on the tower's mechanics as you get higher, introducing a new idea or concept. This is similar to the last case but with design. Too much design can detract the tower's gameplay, enjoyability, and even design itself, as it could appear messy. Avoid forcing non-collapsible decorative parts on gameplay so that the player doesn't get confused, and if you are, make sure that they're extremely thin like this. Use a maximum of 3 different colours for gameplay unless you're making a themed floor. Neon can also either drastically improve a tower's design or ruin it depending on how it's used. The colour shouldn't be oversaturated and eye straining. I'd recommend using a very light shade of your chosen colour like this one here. Also, don't use neon in excess as it is unpleasant to look at. Difficulty spikes don't only come from hard jumps but how much they punish you. If there is a jump in floor 10 that if failed would send you all the way down to floor 1, while every other jump sends you down to like floor 5, 6, this can increase the difficulty of the jump, even if it's around the same difficulty in terms of raw skill. This can be very frustrating for players. This is also the result of bad design, as there can be random empty spots. This rule applies less to towers that focus on insane punishment. You are allowed to take inspiration from multiple towers, but directly copying their mechanics or designs is considered unoriginal and looked down upon. It can even be unfit depending on the style of tower you're making. You should avoid completely stealing assets or mechanics from a tower as well, because this is considered plagiarism and can disqualify your tower. I hope you learned at least one thing from this video, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.